second week of deer season, and he's ready to go, aren't you? You ready to get up in that stand? What are we gonna do?
Sit there.
All right, you ready? Let's go. Okay.
I took this buck down at Dawson Conway Friday, November 7th, 1997, down there in Shackelford County. And I wasn't sure how wide he was, but when I saw all these points, I knew I wanted him. Had to have him. He was about around 100 yards away when I shot him. I was actually watching and waiting for an 8-point to come out, but he popped up and I forgot all about the 8-point.
I guess so.
But I think he was after a doe because he wasn't really paying attention to anything but where he was headed. He knew where he was going. And when he crossed the road, I had my rifle up and watching him through the scope, trying to decide if I was seeing what I thought I was seeing or seeing things. And by the time I made my decision, he had moved off in the brush. And there was an opening between two trees. When he came into that opening, he stopped and paused a second, and I shot him. Lucky for me.
So, just score him?
Yeah, Keith scored him at gross at 157.
How many points does he have?
He has 15 points. He's only 14 inches wide inside, but I'm plenty happy.
I would imagine.
I think Wimpus Cat would be proud of me.
Well, it's Thanksgiving weekend, and I got up this morning and broke out my old rattling horns. I got a synthetic pair, and I've had these for probably 10 years. I broke these out, come up here and hunted up here in this tower here. This morning I watched, I don't know, 3 or 4 bucks. I watched 2 good 10 points over about 600-700 yards from where I was hunting on another stand, and or on another feeder I've got. They went over the hill, and I was thinking, man, I should have hunted over there. But I thought, well, shoot, I might as well rattle. It's kind of open up here where I'm hunting, and I didn't see nothing, you know, in the close area, and I thought, well, I'll rattle. But maybe there's one of these clumps of brushes, you know, a buck laid up. So I started rattling, and rattled a little sequence. These old horns kind of dead sounding. They don't sound real good, but I was going to try to rattle with them anyhow. So I rattled, and set my horns down. I was sitting there just kind of goofing off, looking around, glassing a little bit, and this buck come up over this ridge right here, and I hadn't even chambered a shell in my gun. So I seen all these points. Boy, he come up like that right there, and I just seen points everywhere. So I started trying to chamber a shell in that gun, and the gun jammed on me, and I was up there. It took me probably 4 or 5 minutes before I finally got the shell chambered. No, it wasn't that long. It seemed like 4 or 5. Probably, it really seemed like an hour, but it probably didn't take me. I worked on it probably between a minute and 2 minutes. And he was looking around the whole time, and finally I got a shell chambered, and he was. Matter of fact, I made just a little bit of noise, and it acted like I think he thought it was horns ticking, because he started coming a little faster. And finally, he wasn't but about 60 yards off, and I got it chambered and made the shot. He's a 13 point, a typical 10 with some extra tines. I got a buck on video last year with this tine right here. I don't think it's the same buck. This buck here I don't think is quite as old, but had this fork here, and he's got some extra points here. It might be my same 11 that I've been after. I'll have to age him. His old head's kind of sunk in, so this might be an older buck, and it might be him. But he's probably in the 140-inch class. I'm pretty pleased with him. I've been seeing some good bucks, and I'd like to got him with my bow. I had my bow with me this morning, but I had my gun too, and I opted for the gun because I didn't know if he was going to get in close enough, and my bow was actually at the base of my stand. But pretty nice buck. We've killed some good bucks. Carey killed a 16 points. It scored around 160. It was a heck of a buck. This buck here might be kin to him. I don't know. But anyhow, I'm tickled. Guess I'll go get Jim, tell him some lies, tell him I shot a 4-point or something.
what happened.
Well, we're down here, what is today, the 6th of December? We got down here last night on the Dawson Conway. Oh, it was cold last night. It's cold right now. We got out early this morning. We left the trailer about 5:45. I guess we got out here a little. I think we sat down. I looked at my watch about 6:20. Sitting here, we going out the roads this morning right up here in front of us. Been sitting here, and Steve's up here in this tripod doing a video. We had the radios set out. Now we're just ready to get everything gonna get squared away good. But we couldn't understand a word each other was saying because of these power lines up here that I'm right underneath. I'm probably getting cancer or something from those while I'm hunting out here. But you can't understand what he's saying, so you missed the shot on video. You got to see all the doe and all the action, and you got to see how geed up they were. And I drew and I let down 3 times. And I imagine we monkeyed with those doe about 45 minutes, don't you imagine?
Yeah.
We fought with them, and they moseyed around. There's a bunch of young ones, but I wanted that one that kept busting me. She stood out there about 35 yards and kept staring at me the whole time, and I thought, I'm gonna shoot her if I can take my pick. We got out here and shooting these new arrows. Tried these new gold tip carbon arrows. Well, actually they're graphite arrows. A little bit bigger than the Beemans, a little bit faster, but looks like they're not quite as tough. I think I broke one off on a tree over here. Whenever we could see her running off, you could see part of the white fletched hen go shooting up in the air. So I don't know if I broke one or not. I'm just hoping it doesn't splinter. Those carbons will splinter. And I'm shooting these Spitfire open on impacts. And the part she missed whenever it hit her, it knocked a big old chunk of hair off of her, and she bellered and took off. And I don't know, I imagine she probably went about 100, don't you?
Yeah, we'll see.
A little over, I don't know. It looks like she was going down whenever we lost sight of her.
Yeah, last time I seen her, she was about 100, 150.
She's moving pretty good, but she's hurt really bad.
Yeah.
So we're fixing to go over and try to pick up this trail. I'm going to pack my stuff up, and we're going to get rolling.
Let's see what we can do.
She was standing right in here whenever we shot her. Lunged out this way. Headed up this little trail here. Stumbling and going. I got us a present for her now. They're fast, but I don't know how tough they'd be. Good hit. Good hit. Boy, it hammered her good. Here's the other part of it. Covered good.
Didn't make it to the fletchings, did it?
Never did. It missed it a little up on here. Missed it a little up right here. Just a little in through here. But it stopped right there. I hit her quartering in. When I shot at her, she was a little quartered away, and I punched it in right in here. I think what I did is it punched out right through here, and them shoulder blades cut it and spit that in, this other end out on the ground. And this end was still in her when she run off, because this is what I could see. I never knew I dropped this. And she hung it on these trees and just air-mailed it. But she ought to be, there's some blood. She dumped that right in there.
Let's see.
Go in there and finish her, Steve. Let me get over there and video her. There she is. I think she's dying. I think he's dying. Look at the blood I spilled out of him now. He did break my arrow, that bastard. Oh, he's not liking that. See where I shot it in the head?
Get it right in the ear.
Try to shoot it right behind the eye. Would you hurry up and die? Well, here we are again. This is December the 7th, 1997. We're up on the Dawson Conway. And I guess as you saw by the footage before, I shot this nice boar. I don't know what I did. I think I pulled the shot a little too much because I got too much of that front shoulder. Didn't get it to slip in there like I wanted it. He run out there about 60, 70 yards and fell down the first time. And Steve told me he's down. I got up, got my stuff together, got ready to move on him, you know, to finish him off, and he just jumped up and bolted. We followed him a good mile. I run after him at least. Maybe even more than that. And just got in here behind him. I couldn't find him at first. He ran past Steve's bulk feeder. And I got to looking, and I actually found some blood going down through there. And then I spotted him. He had stopped. Wasn't acting like he was hurt too bad. Still had the adrenaline rush, I guess, from the whole episode. So I continued on foot after him. Chased him down the creek bed, down this draw here, back up this ridge, and ended up in the brush pile back here behind me. I stopped over here about 60 yards when he went to that brush pile, and I kind of figured that he might be waiting on me, you know, waiting for me to get in there, and I was right. I come out and got full draw, and he was standing in there grunting at me, and he's plenty hacked off. I shot this first arrow, this first gold tip, and snapped the blades off my broadhead here. Went right past his head. I was trying to shoot him in the head or the neck because I didn't want him to come out of those woods after me. And it went right past him. It just hit the limbs. I couldn't get it through there. Hit the limbs, shot out here somewhere, broke the blade off, lost the knock. Had one arrow left. I still don't know what happened to the arrow I shot into him. It's a mile back there somewhere. Had this arrow here left. Stopped over there at about 10 foot outside. 10, 15 foot outside this pile. And he was grunting at me, and I was saying a few profane choice words to him. And he didn't like what I had to say, and he decided he'd come out. And the first shot I took when he came out, he just made a bluff charge at me and stopped probably, I don't know, 6 yards from me maybe. Not even that far probably. I mean, it wasn't but about 5 feet. And I was at full draw, and he run and he wheeled, and when he wheeled I was going to try to put one through him. And he jumped, and I shot him back here in the leg. And I guess I clipped something back here because he bled like crazy from back here. And he run back in the brush. Well, I'm out of arrows, so I circle real slow around this way. I get right here to look for my arrows. He comes out of here again, right this way on this little trail you can see right in here. He comes out and stops right here, and I'm standing just about 10 foot back there. He charges at me. I don't have anything to defend myself with. I just start waving my arms and yelling at him. He stops and backs up and is just chomping his teeth like crazy. And you can see right here, you really didn't want him chomping them on you. And I didn't know he had all this when this was going on. I couldn't see any tusk because I was just more worried about him not getting near me. So I found this arrow over there and noticed it didn't have a knot, and then looked right up in here in the brush and found this one, and it was ready to go at the time. So I walked up here and I come to full draw and walked in here real close, and he was standing right on this trail again. That's right out there. He was right in here looking at me. And I was going to try to put it right at his head. He come out and stopped. I was going to try to put it right in here to see if I could shut him down, and he spun. And you can see I hit him right in here in the ear and shot him right in the top of the head. And it almost paralyzed him. His back end hit the ground, and he kind of shook and run back in there a little bit, kind of dragging, and laid down. You know, and I backed off of him, and I didn't have nothing else to shoot with him, and he ended up breaking the broadhead off of that. But you can look you can see what's broke off in his head and what's not, if you can tell. That broadhead's in his skull somewhere. So, we backed off of him and let him have time. Steve got up here. Had to have Steve give him the finishing shot in the neck because he was still mad. I don't know if he could have got up or not by the time you got here, but I'd have hated to take the chance to find out, though. But he was pretty well down. We're guessing he'll probably go between 180 and 200. We watched this pig this morning for about 2 hours before I could get the shot.
Good job.
So I took the time on him, and me and Steve put in a little effort, and I chased him, and here we are. Now we got to drag him out about, well, a good ways down to that road.
He shot him. You can see that stand there. Well, about
That speck on the horizon.
800 yards back there's another tripod back there on the horizon somewhere. That's where he shot him. We got to carry him out down there at the bottom of that road.
We'll come back with you in a little bit more.
Good job.
I don't think it's going to hold him.
There we go. The work has begun.
One's over.
A little southern
See y'all at
ingenuity
the
right
house.
here.